The moon hung low in the inky sky, casting a silvery glow over the ancient tombstones that stood like silent sentinels in Bonaventure Cemetery. The air was thick with an otherworldly stillness, broken only by the distant hoot of an owl and the rustle of Spanish moss hanging from the ancient oaks. Sarah, a young photographer with a penchant for the macabre, had come to Bonaventure seeking inspiration for her next project. The cemetery, known for its eerie beauty and haunted reputation, seemed like the perfect place to capture the ethereal essence of death. Armed with her camera and an adventurous spirit, she wandered through the moss-covered pathways, framed by crumbling mausoleums and weathered statues. As Sarah ventured deeper into the heart of the cemetery, she felt an inexplicable chill in the air. The gravestones seemed to whisper to her, their inscriptions telling tales of lives long gone. She was drawn to a particularly ornate tomb, adorned with intricate carvings of angels and weeping willows. The name on the grave read Eleanor Gray, 1845 to 1872. Intrigued, Sarah raised her camera, capturing the eerie beauty of the memorial. Suddenly, a soft voice echoed in the stillness, causing Sarah to jump. "Why do you disturb the resting place of the departed?" The voice seemed to emanate from the statue of an angel perched atop Eleanor Gray's tomb. Startled but undeterred, Sarah stammered, I'm just here to capture the essence of this place. I mean no harm." The angel statue remained silent, its stone eyes seemingly watching her every move. Unnerved, Sarah decided to explore further, hoping to shake off the uneasy feeling that clung to her. As she wandered through the labyrinthine paths, she stumbled upon an ancient crypt hidden behind a thicket of overgrown vines. Intrigued, she pushed aside the foliage and entered the dark, musty chamber. The air inside was thick with the scent of decay, and the flickering light of her flashlight revealed rows of dusty coffins. One coffin, in particular, caught her attention. The lid was slightly ajar, and Sarah felt an inexplicable urge to investigate. With trembling hands, she pushed the lid open, revealing the desiccated remains of a woman. The corpse seemed frozen in a silent scream, her hollow eye sockets staring accusingly at Sarah. A gust of wind swept through the crypt, extinguishing Sarah's flashlight. Panic set in as she fumbled to relight it. In the darkness, she heard the shuffle of footsteps and an otherworldly moan that seemed to echo through the tomb. Terrified, Sarah stumbled backward, colliding with the cold stone wall. The footsteps drew nearer, and a ghastly figure emerged from the shadows. It was the spectral form of a woman, her tattered Victorian-era gown trailing behind her. The ghostly figure glided toward Sarah, her eyes filled with a mournful longing. "I have waited for so long," the ghost whispered, her voice carrying the weight of centuries. "Release me from this eternal torment." Sarah, paralyzed with fear, could only watch as the ghostly figure reached out with icy fingers. The temperature in the crypt plummeted, and Sarah felt an otherworldly force pulling at her very soul. Desperate to escape, she uttered a plea for mercy. Suddenly, the ghost's visage contorted in agony, and a guttural wail echoed through the crypt. The temperature returned to normal, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. The ghostly figure faded away, leaving Sarah alone in the darkness. Shaken but determined, Sarah stumbled out of the crypt and into the moonlit cemetery. The once serene landscape now seemed alive with unseen forces. Shadows danced among the tombstones, and the air crackled with an otherworldly energy. As Sarah navigated the maze of graves, she noticed a spectral procession forming in the distance. Ghostly figures clad in tattered clothing walked silently, their eyes hollow and vacant. At the forefront of the procession was Eleanor Gray, the woman whose tomb had first captured Sarah's attention. Eleanor's gaze met Sarah's, and a haunting whisper echoed in the night. "You have uncovered the secrets of Bonaventure, mortal. The restless spirits seek release, and only you can help them find peace." Determined to unravel the mystery, Sarah followed the ghostly procession through the winding paths of the cemetery. The air grew thick with sorrow, and the ethereal figures seemed to be leading her to a forgotten corner of Bonaventure. As they reached the outskirts of the cemetery, Sarah stumbled upon an ancient oak tree, its gnarled branches reaching toward the heavens. Beneath the tree lay a forgotten burial ground, marked by weathered gravestones obscured by weeds. Eleanor's ghostly form hovered over a neglected tombstone, her eyes pleading for salvation. Sarah, now understanding her role in this spectral drama, raised her camera and began to capture the essence of the long-forgotten souls. With each photograph, the atmosphere shifted. The air crackled with energy, and a soft hum resonated through the cemetery. The ghostly procession began to dissipate, their ethereal forms merging with the moonlit mist. Eleanor's ghost approached Sarah one last time, gratitude reflected in her hollow eyes. "You have given us release, mortal. Bonaventure can rest once more." As the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, the once haunted cemetery seemed to sigh with relief. The shadows retreated, and a sense of tranquility settled over the graves. Sarah, exhausted but fulfilled, watched as the spirits of Bonaventure faded into the morning mist. The sun bathed the cemetery in a warm glow, casting aside the eerie atmosphere of the night. Sarah knew she had witnessed something beyond the realm of the living, a spectral drama that had unfolded in the quiet corners of Bonaventure Cemetery. With a final glance at the now peaceful graveyard, Sarah made her way back to the entrance. The once creaking gates stood ajar, as if inviting her to leave the secrets of Bonaventure behind. As she stepped into the light of day, the memory of that fateful night lingered in her mind, a haunting tale of restless spirits and the photographer who brought them peace. Months had passed since that fateful night in Bonaventure Cemetery, and the haunting memories lingered in Sarah's mind. The photographs she had captured became a haunting reminder of the spectral drama she had witnessed. Despite the passage of time, an unshakable curiosity gnawed at her, urging her to return to the place where the veil between the living and the dead seemed thin. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the moss-draped tombstones, Sarah found herself standing once again at the entrance of Bonaventure Cemetery. The air was thick with a familiar stillness, but this time, there was a subtle undercurrent of anticipation. Guided by an unseen force, Sarah navigated the winding paths until she reached the forgotten burial ground beneath the ancient oak tree. To her surprise, the neglected tombstones were no longer obscured by weeds. Instead, they stood proud and restored, as if the spirits themselves had taken care of their final resting places. Eleanor Gray's ghostly figure appeared before her, her eyes no longer hollow but filled with gratitude. "You returned, mortal," she whispered. "Bonaventure is at peace, but there is more to be done." Sarah, compelled by a sense of duty, raised her camera once again. The ethereal atmosphere returned, and the air hummed with energy. As she captured the essence of the spirits, new faces emerged from the shadows, forgotten souls who had longed for release. The ghostly procession took on a new form, a collective of souls bound by a shared history. They beckoned Sarah to follow, leading her to a neglected mausoleum hidden in the depths of the cemetery. The cold air surrounded her as she approached the ancient structure, its weathered doors creaking open as if welcoming her. Inside, the darkness was oppressive, broken only by the flicker of candlelight. The ghostly figures gathered around a grand tomb, adorned with faded engravings and symbols. The atmosphere crackled with an intensity that sent shivers down Sarah's spine. A spectral voice echoed through the mausoleum, recounting a tale of tragedy and betrayal, a story that had bound the souls within to an eternity of unrest. As the narrative unfolded, Sarah felt a surge of empathy for the tormented spirits, their faces etched with sorrow and regret. Determined to help, Sarah continued to capture their essence through her lens. Each photograph seemed to peel away layers of anguish, revealing the humanity that had been lost in the passage of time. The mausoleum, once a chamber of despair, began to resonate with a newfound peace. The ghostly figures, their features softening with relief, began to fade into the shadows. The oppressive darkness lifted, and the mausoleum seemed to exhale a sigh of liberation. Only one figure remained, the spirit who had shared the tragic tale. With a final whisper of gratitude, the last ghost dissipated into the air, leaving Sarah alone in the now hallowed mausoleum. As she stepped outside, the once neglected burial ground had transformed into a serene haven, bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. The spirits of Bonaventure Cemetery had found solace, but Sarah's journey was far from over. The lingering connection she felt to the supernatural forces led her deeper into the heart of Savannah, where hidden mysteries awaited her. Haunted mansions, forgotten plantations, and ancient bayous became the backdrop for Sarah's quest to uncover the stories of restless spirits. Armed with her camera and an unwavering determination, she ventured into the darkest corners of the city, seeking to bring peace to those who had long been forgotten. In a dilapidated mansion on the outskirts of Savannah, Sarah encountered the spirit of a young girl named Isabella. The child's laughter echoed through the empty halls, a haunting reminder of a life cut short by tragedy. As Sarah delved into the history of the mansion, she uncovered a tale of family secrets, betrayal, and the long-lost innocence. The more Sarah learned, the more the spectral world intertwined with her own. She found herself communicating with the spirits through her photographs, capturing glimpses of their emotions and memories frozen in time. It became a symbiotic relationship, as if the spirits sought her out as a conduit to share their untold stories. Word spread of Sarah's abilities, and people from all walks of life sought her help. From the ghostly lovers trapped in a forgotten ballroom to the tortured soul of a Civil War soldier seeking redemption, Sarah became a bridge between the living and the dead. As her reputation grew, so did the weight of the responsibility she carried. The line between the natural and supernatural blurred, and Sarah found herself caught in a web of ethereal intrigue. Whispers of a long-forgotten prophecy emerged, suggesting that Sarah's destiny was intertwined with the restless spirits seeking closure. One stormy night, as thunder echoed through the haunted streets of Savannah, Sarah stood at the crossroads of the living and the dead. The spirits gathered around her, their presence a symphony of whispers and ethereal energy. A spectral figure emerged from the shadows, the ghostly form of Eleanor Gray. "You are the chosen one, mortal," Eleanor declared, her voice carrying the weight of centuries. "The bridge between worlds. Embrace your destiny and bring peace to the tormented souls who linger in the shadows." With those words, the cemetery gates creaked open, revealing a path that led beyond Bonaventure Cemetery. Sarah, now fully aware of her role in the supernatural tapestry of Savannah, stepped into the unknown. The journey to uncover the secrets of the city's haunted history had only just begun, and the spirits of the past awaited her guidance. As Sarah ventured into the mist-shrouded streets, she carried the weight of the ethereal realm on her shoulders. The moon cast its silvery glow over the city, and the whispers of the spirits guided her toward the next chapter of her supernatural odyssey, a journey that would unravel the mysteries of the afterlife and redefine the boundaries between the living and the dead.